while you watch this music. So it's like you're in this. I mean, pretty. You know, it intimidates some people. They've never been to a nice restaurant or whatever. You come in here and then it's like breaks those barriers down.
It really does. It really does. It's like it is industrial, but it's got a homey feel to it. Like just the big pillars and things like that, you know. But then it has heart, you know, and that's hard to do.
Sorry, fell for this spot when we saw those concrete, because there was no wall there. The whole kitchen was just this big old space.
Okay.
And it was like 2,000, 3,000 square feet more than we were looking for.
Okay.
And we were just like, fuck it. With like that PVR. And we just went for it.
I think you guys maximized your space here, for sure.
The first couple of years, I was like, this is the stupidest thing we ever done. And to put a stage in a band, and the first year was like $65,000. And when you add up the whole year of $100 whatever gigs, person gigs, it's like $65,000 and musicians, and you know, I think we lost $100,000 that year. It's just like, what do we do?
I think if you're
but
not,
we grew into it.
Yeah, if you're not in fear of failing, then I don't think you're doing the right thing or pushing yourself.
It was so hard.
I know, you know, but here you are today, you know. So where the hell?
I'm horrible. I'll go all different.
Nah, dude, it's fine. We got time.
France was rad though. You know, I got to eat the cap range at the Clown Bar. I got into Sep team.
Yeah. Oh, you did?
We traveled all.
I ate next door.
Okay, cool.
And dude, that was the Welks, just amazing. And then you know what's funny? I ended up hanging out with the chick who owns the sunglasses store next door.
Oh wow!
Yeah, because she was there and she's hitting her vape pen, and I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, that's weed. And I'm telling the people next to me because I made friends with them, and they're like, that's not weed, that's tobacco. And I'm like, no, bro. I'm from California, all right? And they're like, I'm like, hey, is that weed? And she's like, yeah, you want some? And I'm like, fuck yeah, hitting the vape pen right in the restaurant in front of I'm like, this is fucking amazing.
Paris is rad.
I love that place, man. And you know what?
Reminded me so much of New York.
Yeah,
it's like
it really does. The feel of the restaurants.
New York, I mean,
it's like
just the streets and how you walk around. I mean, the buildings are way older and all that. But
yeah,
you know, like, it just had a very
what I did notice in all of Europe is that the conversations at the table are different. You know, here, what'd you watch on Netflix? What is this? What is that? They're talking about past meals they had, comparing it to this meal, talking about meals that they're gonna have. You know, that's just me being a single diner eavesdropping and shit. But
I got the feeling I think people enjoy food more for a long. Like everybody's getting into food in the States, I think. But I didn't get the impression that you have all the people coming in throwing a fit and being unhappy, and it's just so common here, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And we try not to.
It's an outrage.
Bring us down.
It's an outrage community.
I mean, you saw our sign. It's like, we will not engage or discuss mask policy. Like we just don't. We did it for a year. We don't even talk about it.
Yeah.
If you want to argue with us, we show you the door.
Exactly.
But it's like we don't get a lot of that anymore. But
no, yeah. I think
we
people
also put the expectation up front.
Yeah.
But I didn't get the impression that that's really. It's just everybody's into food there. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, I just think it's just the way they grew up. You know.
Don't get me wrong. I was always struck by as you grow up in the States, working with French chefs, European trained is debate. Generally, go start in a Japanese restaurant or something may be different, right? But a lot of those have European training too, fused in, right? But I don't know. I was always enamored with French. And French cooking.
I mean, I think the fucking entire world
and
is.
To go there and so we travel all around. I mean, we did Champagne, we did bouge. My wife's the Somme, right?
Yeah.
So we did Beaujolais, we did.
That's
Bone.
so easy. That like as a chef to have a wife as a sommelier, like that's when I go out to eat by myself. I'm like,
it's so
all right, what's your favorite? You know.
And I learned so much about wine on that trip. You know. We went to Northern Rhone for a day. We did Sancerre for a night. Like we just all over. We ate in little towns. We ate in Paris. We did all these things. And I mean, it was very hit or miss.
Yeah.
We had some bad food. We had one, and I just won't even mention it, but we ate at one restaurant that was this restaurant, not casual.
Got you.
This next to the chef's 3 Michelin star restaurant, and it was horrible. And I'm not trying to talk shit. I was just like, it's a very interesting perspective of like, and with little restaurants that weren't like when we didn't make the couple of reservations we didn't make, where we just picked a spot. We had some pretty bad food experiences.
Yeah.
And I was like, I think when you grow up in the United States cooking and you're trained in French cooking, you're like, you think everything's good over there.
Yeah.
It's not.
No. It's just,
like
it's just like here.
It's just as hard. It's just, it's like when cooks grow up cooking somewhere and then they go to New York and they think everybody's going to be the best cook around. And it's like, no, if you're good, you're good.
Yeah.
Like
that's
cooking
it.
in New York really, like, I don't believe in, like, it's different, but like, I've talked to enough chefs that are now like, it's just cooking in a kitchen.
Exactly.
It's not like, I mean, when I moved to Chicago, I thought everybody's going to be running circles around me. And it's like, I got promoted too fast. Cause I worked harder than everybody. So it's just interesting to have that perspective of like, it's kind of the same everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Literally, we're all the same. Every person's the same.
And it gives you perspective of what we do here too. Of like, I was like, okay, I think I've been really proud of where this restaurant's come and what we do. And I was like, I always talk about our tasting menu with our team of like, we built this thing in a second-tier city, but we compete nationally. We want anybody who comes through here that does tasting menus in New York or San Francisco to come to ours and be like, this is legit. And
this is
then
fire.
I came back from this trip like, we compete internationally. And I believe that.
Yeah.
And I'm so proud to be able to confidently
exactly
have that take back,
That's baller, man. I'm glad you had a good trip.
Good. Yeah.
So, man, where were we?
We were back at this hotel restaurant in
right.
Walla Walla.
Okay.
So I spent 3.5 years. He made me the sous chef like a year later. Like,
got you.
I'm too young to be.
Your apprenticeship.
My apprenticeship. Okay. Halfway through my apprenticeship, I'm the sous chef.
Yeah.
You're in a small town. There's no cooks, and you train everybody. So I was like, once he has somebody.
Yeah.
So he put me on parties with that. It's like, then I'm working 18 hours a day. Then I'm in at 8 in the morning, still partying just as hard.
Yeah.
I don't do that anymore. But just, and I think that's so valuable to like work. So if you're working 6-7 days a week, you learn to work on nothing and not do as good. You learn to just have stamina and resilience.
Yeah.
Also, you're just cramming in more time, more knife cuts, more like in the production. You're doing real food in the parties, the banquets of that kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
So you're making 10 hotel pans of gratin. You're cleaning all the tenderloins for the party, So that's like you're trussing 20 ribeyes. Like, so when you're cramming in that much time, you learn. You can soak more in and learn.
Yeah, then you learn.
Like, how would you be a 20-year-old cook like that and do the 4 days, 3 days off? If I go get a second job, I want to cook more.
Yeah, exactly.
All I wanted to do was cook.
Exactly.
And all I did is cook for first 15 years of my career. And now I want to cook less, maybe. I'm out mountain biking in the morning.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
Like that, trying to get healthy and, like a lot of people.
Yeah. I think, pandemic put a lot of shit in perspective, for sure.
But it served me really well. Barry's one of my best friends now. I met him and my twin brother in New Orleans right before the pandemic.
Yeah.
Did a little tour. My brother actually worked for him for a little bit. He's not a career cook or anything, but he ended up back and worked. So he got to know my mentor and boss, which was really cool.
Oh, that's cool.
But
man.
we're just tromping around New Orleans, and he's like jabbing and teasing the same way he did when I was a fucking cook. Right?
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
That's awesome. And I bet your brother was looking at you like, "Oh, that's where you get that from now." That's
he already knew because he worked for him for a little bit.
Yeah, you learn shit.
Yeah.
So why did you leave there?
I was just like, I'm full on. Like, I knew I wasn't going to go to culinary school or this, and my parents embraced it 100%. And they just knew who their kids were. They're very real. They were kind of like hippie parents. They were moved to Walla Walla from the East Coast. They had friends who moved down there. They liked the camp and outdoor stuff.
Yeah.
They were very supportive of, even though college was what everyone was going to do and it's the most important thing to get educated, they saw that I needed to do shit with my hands. I was smart, but I was not studious like my older brother or sister at all. Okay, schools. And they just embraced it. They were proud of me.
Yeah.
So then I was like, where do I go? My older brother moved to Chicago after he graduated school. So I was like, fuck, I can go to Chicago and crash on his couch until I find a job in a place so I can just go.
Yeah.
And I was like reading about trailer trotters and all that shit then, right? And my mother was like, well, you should look up this chef. He just opened this hotel. He grew up next to my brother in Chicago or something.
Yeah.
So there's just this little connection, right? And it was like, I was gonna go look it up. Like, I knew I wanted to go to a restaurant. Like I was in a hotel restaurant. It wasn't corporate or anything.
Yeah, yeah.
But I was like, but I also thought that was like I was really enamored by the big production. Like when we did huge volume, that shit's so energizing. So I was open to. So I looked up this hotel and I thought it was just gonna be some like not spot. And it was the Peninsula Hotel. It was like the nicest hotel in the fucking world.
Yeah.
It just opened, you know. It was like I looked at it, it was like Travel and Leisure was like #1 in the world. Like, and they have a 5-star restaurant.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
And you're like, fuck yeah.
So but I don't remember if I emailed him even first. I think I just went there and showed up. I don't know.
That's the way you do it.
And I was so funny because I was like, I had been a sous chef, but I was scared shitless of that city.
Yeah, yeah.
Everything. And I was like, I'm just going to go in and see what he does. And I was like, pray they don't want to like me to do too much. And then I just fall on my face. And he was just, all he had was a cook job in the lobby restaurant. He was going to this job. I was like, sure, done. So, you know those hotels, they do like orientation?
Yeah.
So I go to orientation and Graham Elliott Bowles is sitting next to me. He's in orientation. He's the new chef at Avenue.
Yeah.
He's just won Food and Wine 10 Best. And I'm just like, this is rad. This guy, and he's so charismatic.
Yeah.
So fun. And that was my 2 days there of that. And then it's like, I think first day I was on pantry in the lobby kitchen at the Peninsula. And, you know, Graham Elliott's kitchen, we shared a pastry.
Yeah.
The pastry pass, and then Avenues is like right out of that, so it's all the same prep kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
It's really cool. You know, they're making dim sum for the Chinese restaurant downstairs. Like that lobby restaurant is like breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and room service. But there's a walk at the end of the saute station. So you're like walk fried mussels and like Szechuan shrimp. And
yeah,
and then you'll be making a Caesar salad, and then you'll be doing like a real French dish, and like it's just super eclectic. Like mix.
I love that shit, man. That shit teaches you so well.
For a hotel, the quality focus at that hotel is so high, and the chefs were all in their own right so good. No matter what they were doing, the pastry
so professional too at those hotels.
So professional.
Like beautiful from top
like
down, chef coat, white pressed,
those
like,
white
yeah.
Egyptian cotton guard jackets.
Yep.
Like, oh,
the dance goes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dudes that are 4 feet tall are actually 6 feet now, and you're like, what's going on here? Dance goes. Things that roll your ankles,
I ended
bro.
up doing everything in that hotel.
Yeah.
All I wanted to do was work in Avenues with Graham Elliott, and it's like I think I did 2 or 3 months in that kitchen, worked everywhere, and they crash course you. So you go to breakfast and you learn an egg. Like I remember, like I'd never done non-stick, like over easy, like eggs like that, right?
Yeah.
And it's like the breakfast cook would. It's so funny how those places work. Like he would tell you to get the pan really hot. And, you know, if you put clarified butter in a really hot pan and then crack your eggs in it, it breaks the yolk every time.
Basically.
So you pull your pan off, so that's ice cold. But it's so funny how, like, it says job security. It's like all these guys struggle with eggs because he won't show them the right way. Like, everything's not like that, but
Yeah.
where I'm getting, it is really good to learn, like, how to cook eggs, I did everything. I did breakfast, I did lunch, I did dinner, I worked overnight. I would help in the banquet kitchen all the time. I would help Avenues with stuff.
Yeah.
And then it was like, I wanted to be a sous chef so bad. I was like, I don't know why. Because I should have just wanted to go to Charlie Trotter's next.
Got
But
you.
just don't. I don't know.
Yeah, you don't know what that is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Real quick.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're back. So, we're at the hotel. We were just contemplating going to Trotter's.
Well, there's so much talent in that building. There was 3 guys, one of the sous chefs, 2 cooks. worked at Trotter's, and the banquet chef came from True. Like